on tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And guys, I am so sorry. And Demetria, and I hate I didn't record the beginning. And I hate that. Oh my God. But that's okay because I'm gonna give you these accolades one more time. We need that on recording.
Oh.
But she does so much, guys. I don't know if you follow her, but she'll be able to give you all of the information to follow her. She is the corporate hustler. She is a corporate entrepreneur. She's a business strategist and an author. And now I'm going to let Demetria tell you who she really is and give you a little bit about the entrepreneurs that she served. Demetria.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Demishia Wright, and as she said, I am the corporate hustler. I'm a speaker, author, LinkedIn expert, and basically I serve the professional women who still want to excel in corporate America, but they also want to create side hustles and multiple streams of revenue while they're excelling in corporate America, because they understand it ain't safe in corporate America, but they're good at what they do. So that's the professional that I serve, that is in that in-between space where she's not ready to be out here as a full-time entrepreneur, but she wants to make sure that she's always creating revenue streams for herself. So I serve the corporate hustler, because in corporate America, and then we have side hustles, and when you combine the two, you probably would become a corporate hustler like myself. So that is basically who I serve. So any professional females, and I mean guys too, but mainly the women who are still like on their grind, do what they got to do from 9 to 5, and then turn around and come home and make sure that they're on their side hustle and on point.
Thank you so much. And so let's start out talking about that, because just like you said, you have that covenant 9 to 5, which I love. I myself am an advocate for the parallelpreneur or dualpreneur, that individual that's on their grind. We both have worked a full day today and we come home in the evening and we're ready to do the grind for ourselves. Tell me, how do you separate the two? Because it is well known that most people think that if you have a side hustle, you're doing something on your own, that you're probably cheating the clock and doing something on your professional career. How do you distinguish the difference? Because I need to get that message out there.
Awesome. Yeah, you do not have to cheat the clock in order to be a corporate hustler. Basically, it does come down to planning, and it does come time to value in all your time. So I don't watch TV. So I make sure that when I come home, I'm completely focused. If you think about how much you can get done from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., it is amazing. That's half of a workday. So when you go into your job, stay focused on it, get things done on time and on point, so you're not worried about work when you get off. So that's the thing, is I've given them all that they have paid for in their 8 hours. They've been served. They get what they want. They get what they need. Now, I'm a little bit of a hybrid as far as time, because I am in IT, which means that at any given moment, my corporate job can call me, but they still are served, and they've already been served by the time I get home. So just making sure that when you're there, you're there. Stay in the moment of what you're doing, because remember, I serve a professional who is a professional. So this is our actual careers. This is still our brand. This is still what we're about. Like, you're an educator, and it doesn't matter whether you have a 9 to 5 or not, you're an educator. So you always want to make sure that you are protecting your brand as in your industry. You don't want all the teachers and principals to think you're out here running around doing crazy stuff on the clock. That is still your work ethic. That's still what you're about. Because if you think about it, if your clients see you build a business that way, how do they know that once you go full-time that you're not cheating them when you say you're hourly? Because if you do it to one, you'll do it to another. I don't think that you can just say, oh, I'm only cheating them because that's the man. No, it's just your work ethic and what you're about. So always make sure that you're in the moment and you're present when you're at work, and get what you need done. And then come home or wake up earlier and get things done. Now, lunch breaks are fine. And even sometimes if you really need to, take a PTO day. And get what you need done. But those are what I always recommend, is don't, because then you have people all up in your business thinking you doing stuff. Your coworkers start whispering, I think she working on this. No, you don't want that at work at all. You want to avoid drama, as I always say, and the way to avoid that is to really make sure that you have those boundaries and keep those boundaries guarded, because it's still your career and your profession.
And you are exactly right. I know for me, I'm a 3 a.m. riser. That's every morning. 3 to 6 is my morning grind time. And then I start preparing my day. And then, of course, in the evenings, I have it all worked out what I'm going to do. So with that, because you're a mother as well, so you have added that. So you're working full time. You have a home life that you have to take care of in your story. And I want you to talk about your background because I think it's so impactful. I actually had the opportunity to hear your background for the first time when we were at Beacon, because we're both co-authors in the renegotiating book. And so you shared that and it just touched me so much. So I definitely want you to touch a little bit on that because it really gives you context of your hustle. And I loved it. It was real, it was raw, and it was transparent. So talk a little bit about how, and I won't say balance because we don't always balance, but how do you integrate all of those things that you have going on?
Well, one, to integrate, you just have to be actually transparent with your family. Like, hey, this is what I do. This is what's going on. Now, luckily for me, my boys are bigger now. So there's 10-year-olds, there's a 50-year-old, and then there's a 22-year-old. So they're all big and kind of can manage themselves. It's more so like a drop off or a pickup or a text or a call at this point. And because they're boys, of course, mommy is not as important and they're, day to day, unless there's drama or issue or send me money. That's usually what my role is at this point. Send me money. What's going on? So that's how I balance it today. But what you're referring to is just my general background, being that I was a teen mom. Like I just told you, I have a 22-year-old. And being a teen mom, it meant that I had to always be focused. I always had to had somebody who needed me to be on point. So the story that I always tell is how I became a corporate hustler was because all my life I saw people living check to check all the time. I knew how much it cost to get gas without actually having money in your account. All you needed was $1. I knew how to swipe. I knew how to make sure that on Wednesdays you could write a check to Walmart and it'll be there by Friday. I understood all of the hustles. But then I realized there was this whole other life in corporate America where people were getting these big bonuses and people were getting these golden parachutes, as they call. And I knew that I had to get there as well to bring stability to my household and to everything I had going on. So for me, it was imperative that I learned how to first stabilize my life and excel in corporate America. And with every raise that I got, it made me more of a hustler. And I will remember my background and remember where I came from. Like, whoever giveth can take it away, which is why once I started making six figures, I definitely had to make sure that, they wasn't going to take it away and change my lifestyle overnight. So that is what drives my hustle. And it's why I maintain my hustle, because I do excel in corporate America and don't necessarily, quote unquote, have to have a side hustle, but there's always a reason to have multiple streams. But yeah, that's pretty much why, is because all my life over half my life, I've been a mommy. So it's really, really what drives me to always be at my next level and on point.
And you said something that really resonates, because that's one of the reasons why I enjoy my dualpreneur, is because I do work 9 to 5. I do make a great income. I get that check every 2 weeks. So some people want to discount your grindness or your hustle when, and I always preface this with, I take nothing away from the 100% entrepreneur because they're on their grind as well, because most of the time what they do depends on the money that comes in. For us, it's a little different. And I think that when you do have that safety net, because that's what it is, when you have that, it's very easy sometimes not to be motivated to get out and do things, right? And so you have to really be focused and dedicated to your grind when you do have your mortgage paid, when you do have your car paid, and you don't have to depend on that. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for the dualpreneur, mindset is probably number one over skill for us, because most of us are probably, or if you probably have the right coach, are using what you already were taught. If you have an actual profession, or you're like I'm in IT, and so you usually probably are using a skill you already have and you've already perfected in your industry and in your profession. So skill set is not usually the problem, but mindset for us is keeping us focused. I always talk about the middle class is the hardest class to move up, because you are comfortable. So it becomes a mindset. You mean what motivates me? My lights are paid. Your kids, private school tuition is paid. What is going to make you get up and still have clients? So it's all about really mindset. You have to make sure that you activate a second level in yourself. Like, hey, this isn't about today's mortgage. It's about the mortgage in 20 years. Or, it's about the house. So when my son graduates, you can buy in my house. You have to activate a second level of wealth mindset. So it's really not about your day-to-day life. You might already buy your Louis Vuittons. You're good there. It's not about your today, but it definitely is about your family's future. So it's kind of like unlocking, really, really trying to unlock that wealth mentality. And the other advantage I would say that you always can think about is you really can just serve who you want to serve. So you become a better entrepreneur, meaning I don't have to accept everything and anything just because my bills are due, because they're already paid. So I don't have to accept you as a client, which means that all the clients I do have is because I really wanted to work with you and I really wanted to help you, not because I had a bill to pay. And I think that's one of the major advantages of a parapreneur who actually is a professional in their industry and enjoys their job. That is one of the big advantages. They're not just hustling you as far as like, oh, Black Friday sale or this sale or that sale. You know when people's bills are due out here in these internet streets, because you see all the sales come mid-month or this, or they might want new cars this month because they running deals and launching all kinds of products. You can tell. So whereas me, you wouldn't know, because I'm just like, oh, okay, well, it's still the same price. Nothing's really changed. I'm sorry, I don't have a sale because this is what it was. I wasn't, giving you the wrong price to begin with. So I think that's one of the advantages, but really mindset, reading a lot of books, trying to find mentors that are already like comfortable and had to unlock the next level. Especially if you get into the parapreneurs who make over, your 50, 60, 70,000, and they're really professionals, your doctors, your lawyers, IT, principal, those people, you really, really have to grind in there and really find that next level mindset to keep you motivated.
I love that. I really love that, because it truly is the will and not the skill when it comes to those of us with to a major career and then our own side hustle. Now, you touched upon something that I want to dive into just a little bit: mentoring and coaching. And so that was probably one of the mistakes that I made early on, is I didn't get a mentor or a coach. I just went out there, doing my little internet working and all that. And then I soon found out that I needed some guidance. And so that is like one of the first things that I will tell anybody: find you a mentor, find your coach, because it's okay to make your mistakes, but it's so much better when you learn from other people's mistakes, right? So tell me, when people hire you, let's say, for your, because you do quite a few things. You do like an income, you help with increasing income, you do some social media strategies, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So talk to me, when someone comes to you and they want your services, what's the process that you go through in trying to find that right fit?
Okay, so for me right now, I've decided that the right process to work with Demishia is through my membership site that will launch in January, because I found that I'm not a one-on-one coach. I actually, in that membership site, will talk about how you can find the right coach. I'm more so, a mentor to you in that process. So in my membership site, I talk about still excelling in corporate America, because that's what I want you to do so that you can afford the coach. Because if you don't get no money, you can't pay the coach. Now, you might could bump into a mentor who will do whatever, but coaches, it's a little line between whether a coach is a mentor or not. Mentors are normally not paid. Coaches are. So, but nonetheless, you need the funds to find you a great coach. So in my membership site, I talk you through that, just the beginnings of, once you realize, okay, I'm a professional, I'm good in my industry, Demishia, but man, I really want to know about how to get out in these internet streets, and I really want to know how to do things. So we talk you through the mindset, like I just said. We'll talk you through how to still make sure you're excelling in corporate America, and then how to begin your internet journey, which does begin with finding the right coach. So we talk about that in the site. So for me, I am at the beginning of your journey, and I realize that that's where I'm best served for the professional, for the young professional or the new entrepreneur, that's who I serve the best, because I feel like the babies listen to me a little bit more. And they, they want to emulate my quote unquote lifestyle of being a corporate hustler. So for me to work with me in terms of that aspect, it will be through the membership site. So I'm not you still get office hours and one-on-one questions with me, but I am not your, I guess like a coach like you where you work explicitly one-on-one. I found that young professionals are not ready for that yet because they haven't mastered the basics. So usually they're almost not wasting their money, but until you get this basic stuff down, you probably aren't even ready to go over to coach and mentor lands because you're still trying to figure out, well, do I even want to be a corporate hustler or do I just want to be great at corporate? Do I even know what my industry is or what that means? And your network is very immature. So we work on your network and meeting people and learning something that you can give to your network.
That is really awesome. And you say this membership site will launch in January.
It launches in January, but you can go over to the rightstrategy.com anytime and just click on Corporate Hustle University because that's what it is.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good. I love it. So you are also not only do you do your coaching, your membership site, but you're an author. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And I know that you've authored other books, and then I just want to show the one that we're both in. Renegotiating Greatness, and actually Demishia is chapter 11. Yes, I did not wake up to be mediocre. I love that. I love that. So talk to us a little bit about your chapter, and I think that in Atlanta you all may be having a launch soon, right?
Yeah, so actually, me and another co-author in the book, Avery, we did like a mini book launch, but our awesome Sade is coming in March to do an even bigger book launch for that one. My particular chapter, like I said, is based on the fact that you cannot wake up every day and be mediocre and think that you're going to get some great results. So I tell you about my journey of realizing that I was in a mediocre state, meaning when you compare yourself to people who are already not beneath you as far as like, humans, we're all humans, but when they're not even on your level yet and you're comparing yourself to the 5 people you already surrounded yourself to, you're going to seem like you're doing great things. But I realized when I opened my eyes and realized, wow, wait a minute, if I compare myself to these other people, I'm not doing much. So instead, every day I learned how to wake up and be better than I was yesterday to make sure that I don't wake up mediocre. Meaning if I always challenge myself to be better than I was yesterday, I know that I'm always going to progress. So in the chapter, it just talks about how my mindset changed from being that check-to-check person to being the person that didn't think that she was enough to get the raise or to start the business, and how I renegotiated that internally and then emerged as the corporate hustler. So in that book, that's what I talk about. This spring, the big book will arrive. That's just me. And it's corporate hustle, lessons learned through hip hop. Because if anybody knows me, I'm sophisticated ratchet, I guess. And I love hip hop. So, and hip hop is what I always say got me promoted. Because I used to have a hip hop mindset on my way to work every day. So I talk about that in the book.
That is exciting. I cannot wait till that comes out. So Demishia, tell everyone, where can they find you on social media? How can they contact you? So just give them all the information.
So you can find my blog and my podcast on demishia.com. So that's just my first name, DEMISHIA.com. And on there, you'll see me write blog posts, and it's where I post my podcast. And my podcast is called The Corporate Hustler. It is on iTunes and Google Play now and SoundCloud. If you want to work with me as far as the Corporate Hustle University, you just head to the rightstrategy.com, and that's right with a W. And pretty much if you can spell my first name, you can find me on any platform from LinkedIn to Twitter to Facebook. So that's Demishia, because there's not really a lot of us out there. So it's DEMISHIA. Even at Gmail, or it's still me. At Yahoo, still me. It's still me. So, as long as you can spell my name, you can find me.
I love that. I love that. So what's next for you, Demishia?
Ooh, that is a great question. So really, I'm focused on the Corporate Hustle University. And here in Atlanta, I do a women's empowerment brunch that it will be on my birthday, April 13th. of next year in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's my next big event. Besides working with all the awesome stuff that I'm a brand ambassador for Sade. So all of that stuff will roll out. But me personally, it'll be the I Am Enough brunch. That'll be here in Atlanta, Georgia. And then that Corporate Hustle book that's coming out. And then the Unleashing of the Corporate Hustle University. So if you want to work with me, if you want to learn the mindset of a corporate hustler, I suggest you come over to the Corporate Hustle University membership site while I'm still like, oh, it don't need to be that much, before I find some coach that tells me, girl, it need to be way more. You know, I'm not there yet, y'all. I'm still, since I corporate hustle, I don't be trying to charge y'all, but one day I'm going to be like, listen, so you should get there while you can, while it's with a low.
I love it. I love it. So what would be a final message to the viewers and the listeners?
Oh, okay. A final message would just be that make sure that your work ethic is always showing up. Meaning if you're in your 9 to 5, make sure you're building a brand there that manager, that director would even come work with you if you left the company. And when you're in your 5 to 9, always have the work ethic to make sure that you're not just hustling people because you have bills to pay. Just always have that balance. Know your worth, but don't ever cheat people. And build a network, because networks are truly your net worth. That's not just a network marketing thing. That is a real thing. I promise you. You get mad because people don't know anything, but they're in high positions. It's all because of their network. So I truly believe that you need to head over to LinkedIn, get you a network that works, and that will help you get to your next level goals.
I love it. And that networking, I tell you, it's nothing like it. I don't go a place without connecting. And it's more than getting business cards, people. So you have to know that. You have to connect, follow up, and build relationships with people. So
yes, follow up.
Yes. Absolutely. Demishia, I am just so appreciative that you are taking the time tonight to share with us what you're all about, what you have going on. It's been such a delight. I'm so glad that I am connected with you, and I look forward to doing more collaborations with you. I'm excited that we are both contributing authors. I can't wait to get your Corporate Hustle book. And so just good luck to you in all your endeavors that are coming up.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on the Grind Entrepreneur.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And listeners and viewers, thank you so much for joining us on the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, where my mission is simple. We support, connect, develop, and highlight entrepreneurs on their grind. So, Demishia, keep grinding. Thank you.
Thanks.